Josh Gaffney, 213 Porter Street. First, I want to thank Commissioner Graziano for his suggestion to add the materials to the website in advance. It's really important. I mean, planning and the work that you guys do probably has a greater impact on the lives of the citizens of Easton than just about anything else that's going on. And it's really difficult to invest the time to track this, to understand what's happening. You know, people are busy. The fact that this many people have showed up for this meeting really shows how important these issues are to the community. And everything we can do to increase that transparency is critical. And to Mr. Shipman, you know, I fully understand the frustration, the challenge of having an open debate in front of people where you're going to be held accountable, and it is more difficult sometimes to have a one-on-one conversation and try and convince somebody of your position in that environment. But it really does instill trust in the community. And I think the Lafayette example is a really great point where the community did not feel like there was a lot of trust going on in that process. It was very opaque.
I'm not opposed to that, Mr. Shipman.
I'm happy to engage in a dialogue.
I think that's not correct. I wasn't raising that as an opposition. I was saying it doesn't allow the best debate among the board. That's what I was saying.
Point taken, and I think you have to sacrifice the best debate amongst the board to instill confidence from the community.
Disagree with that.
And you are welcome to.
Mr. Shipman, I'm asking that we let the public speak. May not agree, but we need to let folks speak.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Gaffney.
Second, I submitted a letter to the City Council and the Planning Commission a couple weeks ago regarding potential amendments to the adaptive reuse zoning districts. I think the debate that we've had tonight, the discussion between staff and council really highlights the need to get much more granular and really be thoughtful about what we allow in these zones. You know, this project, I think universally is opposed. There's nobody that has really come up with a great reason to do this that isn't a developer. You know, it doesn't make sense for the community, it doesn't make sense for health, the noise, just the common sense and the sniff test, this does not pass it. But there is an element of like, what does the law say? What are you guys required to do and evaluate? And one of the things that I would really urge this council to do is take a very deep look at the adaptive reuse districts. When you look about where they are in our city, it's really unique. These aren't random sites that are just kind of stuck off in the middle of nowhere. Every single adaptive reuse district we have abuts green space and river corridor. These are places that are critical to our future as a city and our values as a community. When you look at the new riverfront development that's being planned, there's adaptive reuse districts right in the middle of that. If you had a 100-foot tall warehouse, how would that plan work out? If you had a chemical plant right there. These are things that are currently permitted by right in these districts. They are no longer appropriate based on the way that Easton has developed as a community and the economic upswing that we've had. I urge you to really take a close look and remove those uses immediately. Do it as quickly as possible. There's a number of them that I've laid out in that letter that simply do not need to be there, and we can still be satisfying our obligations to the municipality's planning code because those uses are allowed somewhere else in the city today. In addition, remove the requirement that you have a minimum height standard or a maximum height of 100 feet for these non-residential uses. Bring that down to 35 feet. Make it a much more clear sight line. Reduce the intensity of those uses. And to the discussion around noise ordinances, impose supplemental conditions for any of these developments that require developers to prove up front that the final use of that property is going to be able to comply with the noise ordinances. Otherwise, you do end up in that position where it becomes an enforcement issue. And that's really difficult to do because once you've got a warehouse there, once you've got trucks moving in and out of it, and you get noise complaints from residents, you're gonna have a really limited opportunity to do anything about that. You're constantly gonna be chasing this, be a nuisance. Instead, make the developer prove up front that they can do this the right way. If we do those things, we are gonna have much more vital and vibrant development in our city. It's gonna ignore generational value, and it's really just gonna make this continue to be such a fantastic place to live. Thank you.